everyone, and welcome back. We have another amazing referral partner, and let me tell you something. You know how I love my referral partners, right? Everybody knows that I love my referral partners, but I have to say, like when I met this amazing woman that is in this room with us right now, I was blown away with what she does. Not only is she hailing to us from Sweden, which is an amazing gift in itself, but she comes with so many years of experience, so much insight, and so much knowledge that like she's going to completely blow you away. So thank you so much for being here. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me, Suzanne. And I can only say the same. Like what you see in me, I find it new too. Like the moment we connected, it felt like we've known each other for a long time, and we never actually even met in real life, just over Zoom or in the ether. So I'm happy to be here, and I feel the same about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So, everyone, remember, you have to wait until the end to be able to get the amazing free gift that this amazing woman has for you. So, we're gonna jump into the questions because I have to ask. So, tell us about you. Everyone needs to know more about you.
Okay. Do you want the long story or the short story? How many
You get to
minutes do you have?
choose.
I get to choose. Okay, so I won't bore you. I do the short story then. So I have been very depressed, suicidal, and burnt out for many, many, many years. Actually, two times in my life. And from there, it was either I kill myself and then I will leave my children without a mom, and then I won't be of no use to no one, or I need to find myself, who I am beneath all the conditioning, etc., from our society in Sweden where I live, and also the collective conditioning. So it was a long way from where I was. I only slept 15 minutes per night, and in every night I was being murdered. I saw myself being murdered, slaughtered, tortured, and I woke up, with this stale taste of blood in my mouth, my heart pounding, and I didn't know where I was. And then when I looked at the alarm clock, it said 2:47 a.m. in the morning, and I realized I had only been sleeping for 15 minutes for many, 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 many years. So I was really depressed. I was really burnt out. My cognitive abilities were gone. I had panic attacks. I had so many weird symptoms of stress. And I didn't even realize that I was sick at the time. I thought it was like normal, or that I was being punished, that I wasn't good enough, etc. So this obviously catapulted me into my own healing journey with a lot of yoga, holistic disciplines like yoga, tantra, quantum physics, healing modalities, etc., etc. And so I went to courses, I went to programs like a smorgasbord, and then everything that I used for my own healing, shadow work, inner child healing, healing and aligning the masculine, the feminine energies, karmic cords, etc. Everything that I did, I sort of put together for my own sake when I was in this state. And here I am. I'm alive. I'm vibrant. I'm radiant. I'm I'm alive and of bigger use to my kids than if I would have been dead, long time dead. So everything that I have experienced, I share in my books, in my services, in my courses, in my programs, because I know it's working. And I've been working with thousands of people. I think 10,000 plus people in Sweden that I have been in service with and helped. And the way that I see it is that we have so much conditions, etc., as I was mentioning, which is a very low frequency, low energetic frequency, and we only have access to 5% of consciousness, right? So the more I heal, the more access I have to my inner gifts, to my inner wisdom, to my inner talents, and the more souls that are being healed and being more aligned, more balanced, more harmonious with the highest states of consciousness, we also contribute to the collective consciousness. Because, I mean, honestly, take a look what's going on globally in the world. We sure need a lot of more healing and love and erased consciousness. So that was the
Absolutely.
short version.
I love it. I love it. And it brings you to where you are today, which is working with women that are going through menopause and women that are just starting menopause. So, what got you started on that path as far as what made you choose, hey, I want to work solely with women that are in menopause?
Thank you. That was a good question. So there's many reasons. One reason is, so I used to work as a physiotherapist, and in the journals, when we were treating men, men were always sick, even if they weren't so sick. But when we were treated women, actually, it was in the journal said in Swedish, burn, burn, stupid lady. Like these ladies that came in with a lot of stress-related diseases, they were diagnosed like hypochondriacs, or just imagining their status. So at the time, which was very long time ago, I realized that actually women is the biggest minority in the world. So and when I was under the ice, when I was depressed and suicidal, I had no support. I had no support. Everything I had to do was by myself and my own journey. So that was one thing that I really want to work with women, because we are still considered, I still consider us to be the biggest minority in the world. And it's not equal, even if we say it's equal between men and women, in salary, in opportunities, etc., etc. It's not. I mean, let's
Agreed.
face it, it's not. Yeah.
Yep.
And then during COVID, during the pandemic, I'm going to be so honest with you. I didn't take the vaccine, and I was treated like a leopard in Swedish. Like, people wanted to murder me. People threatened me. My business went down. I was silenced, censored, etc. So there was so much stress in my life at the time, economically, and I was a single mom of two kids, and all these threats, etc., etc. And then, like, being an outcast, a true minority in my own society, and how I was treated, that actually pushed me into menopause. And I didn't know it at the time. But so not only did I have all this stressful experience living in this, society that I was so afraid, and so much fear in the collective consciousness, and that I was an outcast, I was also pushed into menopause, and I didn't even realize what was going on. So my partner, he said to me, I'm really, really, really worried about you. I think you're going, into dementia or something, because your memory, you're like worse than Doris in Finding Nemo. And I was like, I didn't even reflect upon that myself, because again, that was my own reality. So I went to doctors and did a lot of check-ins and checkups, etc., and they couldn't find anything. And then after a while, I realized that I wasn't bleeding anymore. So I was in menopause with brain fog and sleeping disorder, weight gain, hot flashes on top of this really, really stressful of being this outcast in society. So I was forced and pushed into that. And when I went to the doctors, all they wanted to do was to give me medication for sleeping disorder, medication for this, medication for that, etc., etc. And as doing and practicing yoga for more than 30 plus years, and being an alternative medicine, into alternative medicine, I was like, I don't want to take pills, because this is a natural condition. This is what women have been going through, since eons of time. And in past lifetimes, these women were considered to be the wise ones, like the medicine women in their villages, and they were sharing their knowledge around sacred bonfires with generations and with others. Like you and I are sharing wisdom in the ether over the screen now. Women were gathering around the bonfire and sharing initiations, rites, ceremonies, and this wisdom. And it's not like that anymore. It's actually, many are considering menopause as, some kind of awkward, uncomfortable state that not many people want to talk about, etc. But it's actually a very, very sacred transition, very sacred, when you as a woman are moving into like the crown energy, the energy of the queen, the sovereign, the free. So this is why I also are passionate about helping women in menopause, because I know it can be like a shit storm. It can truly be like a shit storm. And then you can take medications for that, or you can take medications for that. but the medications again only treat the symptoms, not the root cause. So why is it, why do we have these kind of symptoms during menopause? And in my own exploration and my research and my own experience, I came to realize that the more stored trauma we have in our bodies, the more unexpressed emotions, the more, unconscious stress we have in our energetic system, the more symptoms we might be experiencing during menopause. And it's a natural, transition in life, but it's not being seen as that. It's not being treated like that. And so the modality and the things that I work with is also very, when I Google it and I asked AI, actually, it was very rare. AI said this is very unique approach to work with a glance, because obviously there's so much information about menopause nowadays. We can go out on the internet and we can look for the hormones, etc. But the inner communication between the chakras and the glands, I mean, if it doesn't matter how many pills you're eating, if there's no communication, okay, so then you will still have the symptoms, you will still have a lot of different discomfort. So to really work on a depth and big transformative translations for women, and to see how they can, reclaim their power, be more aligned, be in the queen energy, regain their libido, etc., etc. So that's the reason why I choose to work with women in menopause.
I love that so much. I mean, you're talking about, just not only did you have to find like your inner self, your inner energy, your inner like sacral alliance, but you're also teaching these women how to do that within themselves, of not just looking at, just the hormone levels, because that's one piece of it. The hormone levels are very much one piece of when our bodies are going through a transition. Hormones are one piece, but then there is like 50 million other pieces that get completely ignored. And those are the things that you really focus on, which I love. Which is why, like, when we first talked, I was just like, oh my God, like every woman needs to know about you and the husbands of those
Thank
women and
you.
those partners of those women, because when women are going through it, they feel very alone, even though there
Yes.
is so much information, and that now there's support systems for women in menopause, which I love seeing. But there's also, it's just like, it's literally just scraping the surface. It's like, oh God, the hot flashes are so hard. It's like, yeah, but what about the natural ways to help heal some of the issues that you're having with the hot flashes? What are some, there's so many things that you could do, but it's like it becomes so difficult for women to feel like they're actually aligned with their own bodies, because they feel like their body's out of control at that point, and you help them kind of reclaim that control. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I was working with one woman, and she was very uh, in big organizations, like a big leader, like CEO or something like that. And she told me that when she were going to a meeting, all of a sudden she had to pull over her car because she didn't know where she was going to. She didn't know what she was going to do when she got there. So she had to, check her phone and like, okay, what am I doing here? And then when she was going to give a speech, she just blanked out, totally blanked out. And another time, same woman described that she felt like a crazy person with a machine gun who just wanted to go. And so all of these things that are, I mean, we don't talk so much about, and we are, joking about it, we are laughing about it, we are trying to shy away, and, thinking that that doesn't apply to me. And as you said, not only the woman, but also her partner, as her sex hormones, her sex drive might change, and we get very dry in our mucus, etc. So it's on so many levels,
Yeah.
as you say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many things. And I love that, like, you go about it in, not just the way that, like, obviously, like, it's obviously like you come in with like the, what does this specific woman need? Not, what does it have to be for a collective of women? Here's the fix all for everybody. You come in with a very holistic approach, which I absolutely love, because the way that you approach these women is just very much, where are you? You're meeting them where they're at, and you're bringing them forward. You're letting them kind of step into this light with with complete honest support, which I think is absolutely beautiful. But one thing that we've talked about before that I absolutely love that you do is the fact that you offer a specific type of yoga that you've created for women in menopause. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I do. So I think I mentioned it just now. So I work a lot with the chakras. Like yoga is based on chakras, and there are seven big chakras according to yoga, which is related to the nervous system, to inner organs, to body parts, different senses, etc., etc. And as we are living in societies which are very stressful, so much impact is coming, through the phones, through the computers, the environments, that our bodies are actually not designed for all these imprints that is coming in. So it affects the chakras, it stores the stress, and everything is like karmic cords, etc., might be suppressed. So I work with engaging the chakras to create this flow, this inner communication, and also work with the glands, and adding in, individual healing. And what I want women to understand also, that it's not just like this transition from one phase to another. It's actually like a spiritual awakening. It is the
Mhm.
awakening of the wise women, the elder, the crown energy archetype. So, and it's not easy to see that, as you say. If you feel alone, you feel confused, you feel misunderstood. If you go to a doctor, you might not be heard. They don't have the time nor the experience, etc. So it's a very holistic approach, and also that every one of us, we are different doshas, different body types. So what is working for one body type isn't necessarily working for another. But if you go to the doctors, you get the same pill regardless what body type you are, right?
Right.
Because they don't know about Ayurveda and these deep holistic practices. So I work a lot with the glands. I also work with yeah, many different things that I weave together in these yoga therapy sessions that I work with my clients.
I love that so much. Because honestly, like yoga can be incredibly healing. It could be incredibly connected. It's like I love doing yoga. I actually do like a stretching yoga every single night just because I'm like, it helps me sleep. It helps my muscles relax. It releases tension from the day. I'm like, I find it so powerful. So I can only imagine how powerful this yoga would be for these women that are going through such a big, massive change in their lives. So I commend you for putting such a big initiative together because that was huge to take all of these modalities where you're pulling in Ayurvedics, you're pulling in yoga, you're pulling in gland work, you're pulling in chakra, you're taking all of that and you're like putting it into something that is really transforming these women's lives. And I commend you for the creative work that you're doing on this. I really do.
Thank you, thank you so much, Susanne. And also, um, for many of us women, we tend to do a lot. Like we all have the polarities of yin and yang, the feminine, the masculine, etc. And they need each other. They complete each other. They compensate each other. But for many of us, we still do a lot of yang yoga, right? Which is a lot of fire, fire, fire energy. And if you have a lot of
Mhm.
fire within your system with the hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, etc., you don't need that on top of everything else. And yin yoga, even though that I love yin yoga and I teach yin yoga, if you have a lot of stored traumas in your body, conscious or unconsciously, even yin yoga that is represented by the feminine energy can be taking too much toll on your body. So it can mean that you can have like backlashes, you can get worse, you can get more pain, you can get more symptoms. So the yoga that I've designed and developed myself in my own healing journey is much more feminine, but in a warm, intuitive state, because the yin yoga is supposedly that you are in a position in a asana 3 to 5 minutes. But again, if you have a lot of stress and traumas stored in your body, it's a lot. And it feels good while you're lying there, but then you might, get worse or get symptoms or don't have the recovery that you expect. So this is
Right.
totally different in energy, in quality, in intensity, etc. So yes, it is yeah, it's beautiful. I must say it myself. I love it. I love to see when women are entering and how they look like, and then when they're leaving, such a difference.
That is so beautiful. And like I said, thank you for that work that you've done because I know, I'm not quite there yet, but I am already like, you know what? I want to start this yoga now because I don't want to take any chances or risks of, what my cycle is going to look like later because oof, I mean, it's a lot. It can be a lot. So I mean, I think that the way that you put things together is just a really beautiful, beautiful connection. So, but you also have an amazing
Thank
free
you.
gift, right?
I do. I do have this free menopause quiz, which is also not just like what symptoms do you have, because it's also related to the glands. So then you will be able to see where you are a bit more imbalanced. We don't say from the yogic perspective that you are, um, sick or unhealthy. We just say that it's imbalanced, but that's a good thing because when you know what's imbalanced, then you know how to balance it. And then, so the free gift is a free menopause quiz.
I love that. I love that. And I mean, I really love the fact that like your menopause quiz is not just like the typical thing that you're going to get in the doctor's office. This is deep. This is like if you're like not sure if you're in menopause, you're not sure if you're in perimenopause, or maybe the doctor said, hey, you know what, you are in menopause right now, but you need to know what's not working for you and what you need to do differently. This is like an amazing free gift. So what
Thank you.
words should they use to drop in the comments so that they can get access to this amazing free gift?
Menopause.
Okay, so if you guys drop the word menopause in the comments below, her and her team will reach out to you and make sure to get you that access to that quiz. Because I'm telling you, if you haven't, like if you're in a place where you're like not too sure, this is absolutely a quiz that you're going to be wanting. So make sure you drop the word menopause in the comments, and Larissa and her team will reach out to you immediately and make sure to get you access to that quiz. Thank you again so much for being here today. We really had so much fun talking to you, and the insight is just phenomenal. So thank you again.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for doing this and putting this out into the world, which also is helpful for a lot of women out there. And thank you who's listening. I'm looking forward to connect with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.